mírame, qué valiente. Mira, Margarita, mira qué bravo, mira, 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 mira. ¡Ay, ay, ay! Yo soy un vaquero. El mejor vaquero soy yo. Mírame, hombre.
¡Magnífico!
¡Ay, mira, Margarita, qué valiente, qué bravo me veo!
¡Bravo, bravo!
Lenita, ¿cómo?
Gracias, Carlos.
¿Cómo te ayudas? Quédate, no, es mía. Mi vida. Mi mano. No.
Elena, don't go too far away. We are leaving very soon. Ay, they have such spirit.
Fools. Idiots. Papa, why do you allow them to come with us? Chasing Elena all over Nevada. Disgrace.
Now, Margarita, they do no harm.
Harm, Papa, look at the dust. All Spaniards are loco. If Don Luis is as stupid as those two, I'd not marry him.
Cálmate, cálmate.
Oh.
Ben! Yeah, Ben! Ben Cartwright, Don Miguel.
Senor...
Are you all right?
Do you think this is my normal way of disembarking? Of course I'm not all right. Help me up. Why do you gape and take down the luggage?
Howdy, ma'am. My name is Hoss. This is my little brother, Joe.
Well, why do you make conversation? I don't care what your name is. Take down the luggage. That's your job, no?
You heard what the lady said. Take down the luggage.
Margarita,
Hey, Papa.
they are not servants.
Well,
Ben, my older daughter, Margarita. Senor Cartwright.
senorita, welcome to the Ponderosa.
Senor.
And this is Adam,
Yes, we've met.
Joe, and Hoss.
My sons.
Your sons? It is just as well they would make very bad servants.
Well, let's get to the wrench. Why do you gape? Take down the luggage.
Salud, amigo.
To old times.
The good old times.
You're not staying nearly long enough, Miguel.
See, amigo, not long enough for either of us. But we still have a long way to travel, and Margarita is most anxious to meet the man she's going to marry.
Oh, you mean they haven't met yet?
Well, please understand, Adam. It is our custom that the father arrange these things for his daughters. With Elena, there is no problem, but Margarita, Ah, Ben, how often I have envied you, your sons.
I'll tell you, Miguel, I'm quite certain that my sons wouldn't want me to arrange any of their marriages, but there are sure times when I'd like to give it a try.
Margarita. Always the same. Perdóname.
No lo tires. No.
Margarita, ¿qué te pasa?
Tengo muchos rabia.
¿Por qué?
Because they live with us day and night and day, dance and sing. I cannot even have chocolate in peace.
Margarita,
They are-
no hablas así. Somos caballeros.
Caballeros.
Margarita.
Monos.
Smashing up my good china.
Monos.
Por favor, querida.
Get out.
They do not have to leave just because you say so.
I do not have to live with your two buffoons.
Margarita, no te dé tanta rabia. Acuérdate, you may turn out to be my sister-in-law.
You're my brother-in-law.
Not today! Ah!
No, 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 amigo, no, no, no.
Suéltame! ¡Bruto! ¡Animal! ¡Bruto! ¡Let me go!
Never before have I seen her so silent. You are to be congratulated.
Our guests settled for the night?
Yes, finally. Miguel says she's always been like this. Can't do a thing with her. I think he's afraid he'll never be able to marry her off.
And with good reason.
Come in.
Señores.
Oh, come in, gentlemen.
Gracias. Señor Adam. Señor Adam, we wish to express our admiration.
For what you did this afternoon, senor.
You actually silenced Margarita.
And that was a true miracle.
There's the voice of wisdom. I lose my temper, and he calls it a miracle.
No, but we are serious, senor. We love the little Elena.
See, and we would like to marry her.
Both of you?
See? But there's one little problem.
Only one?
Don Miguel, he requires that Margarita be married primero.
Oh?
If you could only gentle her a little.
So that when they meet, this Don Luis will not run away like all the others.
The answer, senores, is no.
Why not, big brother? You're pretty good at gentling wild horses.
Sure, it might turn out to be fun.
You two stay out of this.
I hope I do not interrupt.
It's all right, senorita. I was just leaving.
Senor, por favor, you have to help us. Why don't you help us? I can understand
You're the
I
only one
could
that
not
can
help
help.
but hear you.
I see that, like me, no one else can sleep, eh? Please, Adam. Allow me to speak.
Well, sir?
Adam, Luis Santana is our last hope. Margarita has frightened all the others away. One little thing that is not perfect, she explodes and whoosh, they disappear.
Es verdad, Senor Adam. Whoosh.
If I permit Elena to marry before her older sister, the disgrace will make Margarita so full of fury that... Adam, have pity.
Please, Senor Adam. Please, Senor Adam. Have pity.
Please, Senor Adam. Por favor.
Oh, please, senor Adam. You're the only one that can help. Please help us.
Por favor, ayuda a nosotros.
Hey, Adam, looks like you got a regular Jim Dandy prayer meeting going for you there, big brother.
Get up, get up. What kind of crazy... What do you want me to do? Smack her every time she's bad, which is most of the time?
Perhaps this will help, Adam. I found it this afternoon. A play by your Englishman, Senor Shakespeare.
Taming of the Shrew. You might have known.
How did Shakespeare put it, Adam? Kill her with kindness.
Kindness with that. Lovely lady.
Silencio! Silencio! You have awakened me. I want to sleep. Ahora. That means now.
You're right. She is a problem. But like you said, she's your problem, not mine. Oh, get up.
We were walking down the street in Juarez, and we were both in drag. But he was...
Oh, good morning. I hope you slept well, Margarita.
I have not. First there is the noise, then there is something wrong with that bed.
I'm sorry.
It's crooked, it leans. I had to hold on all night long to keep from slipping to the bottom. It is not so funny, Elaine. I could not close my eyes.
Well, first thing after breakfast, I'll take a look at it.
See. I ask for chocolate, I get coffee.
Margarita, por favore.
Oh, fuck. It is very lucky for you, it's cold. I am going riding.
Joe, saddle a horse and go with her.
Yes, sir.
Oh, pobre de me. Manuel and Carlos are taking me riding. Margarita will run into them. Perdóname.
To fatherhood.
No. First to marriage, I hope.
I will take that horse.
Margarita, these horses are for Elena and us.
I'll get another horse.
Stand aside.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to get another horse.
Tell me something, Elena. You want your sister to marry that Santana fellow, and so do your young men, and so does your father, but how does Margarita feel about all this?
She has much pride, Senor Adam. Too much pride to admit to her private dreams. Even to me. But she is my sister, and I know her very well. Like all women, she longs for the beauty of a man's love. The sweet delight of a child in her arms. As I do, Senor. It is a great pity.
A pity. And so you push and push. Did you ever stop to think, Elena, that maybe you and everybody else might have just pushed Margarita to desperation?
Perhaps we are selfish, Senor Adam. But it is not only selfishness. We believe that Margarita could fulfill a man to running over. We all hope very much, for her sake, that Don Luis will be that man.
Check and mate.
Mighty pretty, ma'am. I sure wish I could play like that.
Gracias. Perhaps you can, Senor Horse. Here. You try. Now, you put your fingers. Dos. This is a E chord. Now strum. Don't laugh. Now, again, we try once. Here. Stop laughing!
Okay.
Put your fingers here, here. Good. Now strum. No! This large onion is the fingers of a bear.
Huh?
I said we must have patience with the instrument. Let me show you now. See? It's impossible! impossible.
Margarita!
Imbécile! Malcriado!
Senor Adam, please, you are the only one that can help us.
It's the meanest dang woman I ever did see.
Out of my way.
That wouldn't happen to be my guitar.
Adam.
My new guitar?
Adam.
The one I sent all the way to New York for?
Hey, sure did. See there? It's got New York right there inside.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sorry, Adam. But as you said, she's a problem to everybody.
All the way from New York. My new guitar.
¡Madre Dios! ¡Caramba! Who has done this to me? Speak up! Cowards! Come on, speak up! Come out and face me! Oh! Jellyfish! Dirty dogs!
Aye. And amid this hurly I intend that all is done in reverent care of her. And in conclusion, she shall watch all night.
Ah, there you are. Ah, you're an early bird this morning. Did you sleep well?
How can one sleep on the floor?
On the floor? Why, was there something wrong with your bed?
This stupid evil thing collapsed. I could not put it together.
Well, I fixed it myself right after you complained.
You fixed it, senor?
Yes, you should have called me when it collapsed.
Called? Where were you when I called?
Oh, you did call? Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't hear a thing. I must have been sleeping like a baby.
Listen, senor, if you think it is very funny to spend the whole night on the floor...
Don't lose your temper so early in the morning. You won't have any left for the rest of the day. Why don't you have some eggs? I fixed them myself.
What are these? Eggs from a dodo bird? They taste like leather.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not very much of a cook. Maybe you would like to have some chocolate. You see, I remembered that you don't like coffee.
It's cold. Don't you even know how to make chocolate?
Oh, I am sorry, senorita. I am truly sorry. I'll heat it up.
Is nothing ever right in this house? The bed, the food. What have you done?
Oh, I am so sorry. Fortunately for you, it's cold. Maybe some water will help.
You're making it worse! How can anyone
That's not easy.
Idiot, it's a conspiracy.
Margarita,
Okay.
have you slept at all this night?
No. Thanks to Senor Adam, the bed fixer. I think he hates me.
Oh, no, Margarita. On the contrary. He's very simpatico to you. He thinks perhaps that Papa and I have pushed you too hard towards marriage.
He does. What business is that of his? How dare he express an opinion?
Because, as I said, he is very simpatico to you, as most men would be if only you would let them.
You permit people to tread on you like a worm. That is not me. I have a fire inside of me. If I cannot explode, I will die.
Querida, if only you could try sometimes to bank the fire a little.
Perhaps. I will try. It is not that I always wish to be alone. I think perhaps I would like to marry.
I know this. But your temper.
So you have said, and Papa has said, and every suitor has said too many times. Well, I am I. And any man, including Don Luis, must accept me the way I am. I wish to ride alone.
I'm afraid not, Senorita. The Ponderosa's a pretty big place. You might get lost.
Then someone else will ride with me.
There's no one else around, sorry. Margarita! A cinch!
How dare you, Senor? How dare you?
You didn't tighten the cinch on your saddle.
There is nothing wrong with this saddle. You make a fuss over nothing. I would have known if this saddle was slipping. Do you see what you've caused? I tried to keep my temper with you, Senor, but you are impossible.
Maybe so, Senorita. I am a man of limited patience. And believe me, you try those limits beyond endurance. Looks like you'll have to walk home.
You will walk, Senor, not I.
Oh, no, Senorita. My horse is much too dangerous for you.
You know I am excellent with the horse.
I couldn't possibly let a delicate creature like yourself ride this animal.
Then you will bring me one back.
Senorita, you will walk, whether in my company or by yourself. It is entirely up to you, but you will walk. Well, you do know about rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes?
Of course, they shouldn't bother you too much, but you can never tell about these wildcats. Well, have it your own way.
Senor. I'm tired.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I would like to ride. Yes?
It really isn't so hard. Try it. Just once.
Please?
Your horse awaits, senorita. Oh, could that possibly be your Don Luis?
It cannot be anyone else, can it? But he was not to come here. What am I to do, senor? Have him see me this way for the first time?
It does matter then what people think of you,
We are what we are, senor. But see, it does matter. No one wants to be alone, senor.
All right. I'll go over and talk to him for a few minutes now. Give you a chance to get upstairs and change.
Gracias, senor. I regret my rudeness to you. I will try to apply the lesson you have tried to taught me.
I'm Madam Cartwright. Welcome to the Ponderosa.
Luis Santana, at your service, senor. You'll think it's a little foolish of me, but I couldn't wait home any longer. I heard so much about Margarita. She is here, isn't she?
Oh, yes, she's here. And you are welcome, Don Luis. And Don Miguel and the entire family will be very delighted to see you.
Oh, I wanted to meet this Margarita so much. And tell me, is she as beautiful as they say?
Oh, yes. She's very beautiful.
And what about her nature, huh?
Her nature?
Yes, her nature. I heard she has very hot temper, huh?
I wouldn't be too concerned. People often exaggerate things, you know.
I hope you're wrong, senor.
You do?
What's a tiger without clothes? It makes for more excitement. A man needs a good fight every now and then to warm the blood.
I should have gone to Timbuktu.
Senor, can we go to find my tiger now, please? Senor, huh?
Why not?
Gracias, Manuel.
Senor Cartwright, Don Miguel, may I propose a toast?
Why, of course.
Thank you. I propose a toast to Elenita, my future bride.
Señores, a toast, yes. But to my future bride.
Your future bride, ¿cuándo deciste eso?
Ahora.
¿Estás loca? ¿Ella se va a casar conmigo?
Nunca.
Vamos a preguntarlo.
Bueno,
Don Miguel, ¿con quién se va a casar
¿Con
su
quién?
hija?
No, nunca.
Elenita, ¿con quién te vas a casar tú?
Conmigo.
Decídelo de una vez. Salud.
Salud.
What are you so glum about?
Oh, Margarita, Don Luis.
Oh, Adam, you haven't...
Taken her to my heart?
Any good Spanish blood, remember?
Oh, I've convinced Don Miguel to stay on for a couple of more days. It's really for Don Luis' sake. He's kind of tired, and his ranch is quite a piece from here.
And it is very kind of you, Ben.
Oh, not at all, Don Miguel. You know that you're welcome to stay on here for as long as you like.
Adam, what do you think?
Well, I'm glad you asked, sir. I'm afraid things aren't working out exactly the way you planned.
Oh?
Now, you see, Don Luis wants to...
Don Luis wants to meet your daughter, Don Miguel. I've heard so much of her beauty, among other things. I'm most impatient to see her.
Well, I am sure that she will be here any moment, Don Luis. Ah.
Well, shall we?
Senor Cartwright, dinner was excellent, as usual.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Would you care for a demi-tasse? I mean, some chocolate?
Oh, no, coffee is fine.
Well, fine, fine.
Ben, shall I set up the chessboard?
Yeah, come on, I'll help you.
Right.
May I sit next to you, senorita?
Oh, please.
There you are.
Gracias. I
You are
am
most... After you.
Por favor, Don Luis, you first.
I wanted to say you are most beautiful, Margarita. All the beauty of a Spanish night is in you.
Please, senor, you are most kind.
You and I are very much alike, I think.
And I think the senor goes with much speed. Time alone will tell us this, no?
Time moves too slowly for a man who is impatient with living alone. And I am, Margarita. Very impatient.
Don Luis, in this at least I must agree. We are alike. I have traveled very far to come to you. And with each passing hour, I wish ever more to please you.
And I, you. We'll do very well together, Margarita. I'm sure.
See, and all that is required is that I be pleasant and agreeable and sweet, no?
I don't mean to be insulting, but I have heard things that...
What things have you heard, Don Luis?
Well, that... Well, they say that if you are provoked, you rage. Like a firestorm. Huh?
Gossip, gossip. Malicious gossip.
That it isn't true?
A woman would be a fool to rage at the man that she would have love her. For him, she should always bank the fire.
You wanted to talk to me?
Si, senor. This Margarita, I'm very disappointed. She's not at all what I expected.
She's not?
A beautiful woman, I was told, and a woman of fire. Now I think I've been misled.
Well, you couldn't possibly mean that she isn't beautiful enough.
Oh, no, senor. But the fire, where is it? You heard as well as I what she said, and I guarantee you there is no warmth in a banked fire. She was the same the whole evening. Her manners as meek as a lamb.
Don't go jumping to conclusions. She's probably on her good behavior, after all.
Adam, I'm a sheep rancher. I live surrounded by sheep, and I don't want a sheep for a wife as well.
I can understand that.
You've been with her for several days now. Is this what she's like? Always?
Well, it's very difficult to judge a person, especially a woman, in just a few days.
But that's exactly what I must do. Once we reach my hacienda, it'll be too late. I couldn't possibly send her away then. It'd be too cruel. I must decide before we leave here.
Well, there's still tomorrow.
I don't think another day will make any difference.
We're planning a picnic tomorrow. You know about picnics.
Know about them, senor?
Yes. They're just full of surprises.
You son of a gun.
I got a ringer.
Is that yours?
No, that was yours.
Hey, look, father than you.
It was a lovely picnic, no?
Sí, señorita.
Look at that. Did you ever see such a beautiful moon?
You joke, senor.
Certainly not. Do you not agree that it is a beautiful moon?
But it is the sun, senor. You are making fun.
I say it is the moon.
Of course. It is the moon, and very beautiful, just as you say.
Senorita, it is obviously the sun that is shining up there. Now, are you trying to make fools of us all, hmm?
As it pleases you, senor. The sun, the moon, a star is all the same to me.
But look at my little Margarita. How like a dove, a little flower. Look how pleasant she looks.
Yes. She's as gentle as a lamb. I'm afraid we have to talk later, you and I, Don Miguel.
Margarita?
Please, senor, be kind enough to leave me alone.
Believe me, I only wish I could. Senorita, you have my deepest apology. Hey, what's
She's lit.
Adam has put Margarita into the water. Carlos, stop laughing and go help Margarita out of the water.
Sí, Elena. Manuel, go get Margarita out of the water.
Oh, Manuel, gracias. You are such a gentleman.
Un momento. Un momento. I am as much a gentleman as you are. I will get her out of the
Carlos,
water.
I only
I'm very
meant it.
sorry.
Manuel.
But I am just as much a gentleman as you are.
Don't worry,
I will get her
Margarita.
out of the water.
We
I will get her out of the water.
All right, then. You get her out of the water.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I
well,
will. acá, mira, yo lo voy a sacar del agua.
She's drowning! Why don't you come on? Oh, run away!
You pushed me.
That's right, senorita. I most certainly did do just that.
I am sure it was a mistake. Will you be kind enough to help me out?
Margarita, I deliberately pushed you into the water.
Si, senor. If you say so. And now, would you help me out?
All right, you win.
Let it be on your head. Why do you have to choose now to be so nice?
Senor, you are a barbarian. An accident, Don Luis. Nothing more.
I understand what you're trying to do, Adam, but it's hopeless. Not even a sheep would have so much for burns as that woman.
Well, I've tried everything else. Why not? Margarita?
Go swimming with the clothes on.
It is yours, no?
I
I think it may be the way to tame a shrew, but not a woman of fire. Adios.
Adios.
Don Luis, be careful, my dress.
Yes, my little tiger.
Adiós.
Adios.
Adiós.
Fie, unknit that threatening, unkind brow, and dart not scornful glances from those eyes to wound thy lord, thy king, thy governor. It blots thy beauty as frosts do bite the meads, confounds thy fame as whirlwind shake fair buds, and in no sense is meet or amiable. A woman moved is like a fountain troubled, muddy, ill-seeming, thick, bereft of beauty. And while it is so, none so dry or thirsty will deign to sip or touch one drop of it. Thy husband is thy lord, thy life, thy keeper, thy head, thy soul.
Hi, little Joe.
Hi, Miss Shannon.
Hi, Allie.
Howdy, Miss Shannon.
Well, I'm glad the boys found you.
Yeah, they told me you had another raid last night.
Yeah, I heard them. Almost caught them, but they got away in the dark. Trailed them, though, and I think I know where they hold up.
Yeah, they're not rustling many head, but it's beginning to add up. Let's get going.
You haven't been around for a week, little Joe. What's wrong?
Been pretty busy at the ranch. You know, I gotta do all my brother's work for him.
Well, you quit neglecting us, you hear?
I sure will. I can't stay away from your cooking that long.
If we stand around talking here all day, them rustlers are gonna get plumb away. Let's go.
So long, Allie.
So long.
They could be holed up in this draw down here. Cletus, you and Floyd circle on around and wait for them at the mouth. Little Joe and I'll try to flush them out from here.
Sure thing, Mr. Shannon.
Little Joe, you take this side of the draw, I'll take the other side. But be careful. I spooked them pretty good last night, and liable to be a little gun-shy.
Right.
of me! Double back around him! Mark, he's in back of me!
What happened? Somebody fired at me. I fired back and it was Burke.
Burke was firing at you? Why'd he do a thing like that for?
Just I thought I was a rustler, the same as I thought he was.
You'll never know now, little Joe. He's dead.
You about ready?
Yeah, I'll call Joe.
No. I'll get him.
Oh, sure worried about the way little Joe's taking this, ain't he?
Aren't we all?
Joe. Time to leave.
Yeah, I know.
Joseph, nobody, including Hallie, is blaming you for what happened.
You really think they'd tell you if they were? Do you?
Joe, what happened, happened. Nothing that anybody can say is going to be of much help to you.
Why didn't he hear me when I called him?
Why didn't he hear you when you called? Why wasn't he on the right side of the door? Why did he shoot at you? What's the point of talking, Joe? Go on.
We ask this, O Lord, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Will you drive me home? Please.
Little Joe sure is lucky.
Yeah? What do you mean?
Well, that Hallie has forgiven him. About the accident.
Oh. Yeah. I guess he is lucky at that.
Hi, Grannis, it don't seem like no more than yesterday I'd see little Joe carrying Hallie's books home from school. Ben, you know, was there any hard feelings at all between Burke and little Joe? You know how ornery Burke could be at times.
You're trying to infer, Roy, that what happened was not an accident?
I'm only asking you the same question, and I'm going to have to answer.
Who's going to ask it?
Burke's brother?
Booth?
That's right. I sent him a telegraph about Burke, and I got one back last night. He's going to be in town tomorrow. He's been the town marshal up to Flat River the last 3 months.
He's still taming hell towns with a fast gun and a short rope?
Well, he's still Booth Shannon, if that's what you mean.
What do you mean? He's gonna make trouble?
You know Booth just as well as I do, and you know that him and Burke meant a lot more to one another than just brothers. They was identical twins.
I know.
Well, and you know the answer to your question just as well as I do, don't you?
You put the buggy away and I'll fix us some coffee.
Well, I think I'd better be getting home.
Please, Joe. I don't want to be alone. Not yet.
All right.
Thanks.
It's boiling.
I know. You know what I've decided? I'm going to sell the ranch and move into town. I could rent the old Schaefer cottage. It's a little small and run down, but it'll do just fine for a little while. How long do you think we should wait?
Wait for what?
To be married, of course. Do you think 6 months? A year? Oh, I hope not that long. But we do have to be careful, I know. I guess I'll have to go on wearing those awful black dresses and a long, sad face. Telling everybody how much I miss poor, dear Burke.
Allie, whatever gave you the idea
You
that
don't
you
want
and
to talk about it yet, I understand. I don't see why we shouldn't. Just between the two of us, of course. Well, after all, no one else is ever going to know.
Know what?
Oh, you're funny. But if you want to pretend the shooting was an accident, well...
What do you mean, pretend?
Well, Joe, darling.
Allie, it was an accident.
Well, of course it was.
Look, if this is some kind of a joke, I don't understand it. Yes, a joke!
Do you think I'd joke about something like this? Oh, Joe, darling, I know how hard it must have been for you to do what you did, and it was all my fault.
Allie!
But it was.
Allie, listen to me!
If I hadn't loved you so, and if I hadn't been so impatient and tried to force you into marrying me before you were ready, well, none of this would have ever happened. I never loved Burke. You knew that. I only married him because I was hurt and angry. I wanted to spite you. It was a silly, childish thing to do. Oh, but darling, I'm free again. I'm free. And now I can be yours like I always dreamed I'd be.
Allie, do you really believe that I murdered Burke? That I killed him just so that you and I could...
It upsets you, won't it?
Allie, there's nothing to talk about. You're wrong. I didn't murder Burke.
Jody to you. In his own time. Come on, back up, back up. Now remember, Mr. Cartwright, don't you ask him. Wait for him to tell you.
I'll remember.
Bye, Mr. Cartwright. Whoa. Booth.
Hallie, you look frightened. As if I were Burke's ghost come back to haunt you. Didn't Roy eat coffee? Didn't he tell you I was coming? Hallie, ever since I heard, I've been wondering. Why didn't you telegraph me about Burke?
Well, I was going to, but I...
But you were too upset, too shocked, too grief-stricken. I should have realized that at the start. Where shall I put them? With Burke gone, someone's going to have to help you run the ranch.
Well,
and I'm sure that Burke would have wanted me to be that someone. I'll put them in the spare room.
A single word. Burke Shannon had a mind like a snake pit. Everybody knows that. Do you really believe that little Joe and Hallie would...
Ben, that is not the point. The point is that Booth believes it, and as sheriff, I have got...
You're not answering my question, Roy.
Of course I don't believe it. But there's a...
But what?
Well, I happen to know that little Joe has spent an awful lot of time around the Shannon
Oh,
place.
for goodness sakes, Roy. Little Joe and Hallie grew up together. They spent time with each other when they were children.
Oh, come now, Ben. You know that everybody felt that little Joe and Hallie was a little more than just friends. Everybody thought that they was going to get married for sure.
I don't care what everybody thought.
Well, it's about time you start caring for little Joe's sake. There's going to be lots of folks thinking the same thing that Booth's thinking.
Did you come here to arrest little Joe?
No, I come to talk to little Joe, but I've got to ask him about this. You know that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Roy. It's just that I think you're so dang mad.
I understand, Ben. And you know how I feel about little Joe. What time you reckon he'll be back from Scobie Flats?
Tonight. Late, probably. If you went after him now, you'd probably catch up with him around Pirate Falls.
Ben, there's no need for that. Just ask him to come in and see me in the morning, if you will. We can get this thing ironed out. And there's one thing that we can be thankful for, that Booth come to me with it instead of taking the thing into his own hands. Because as handy as little Joe is with a gun, he just wouldn't stand a chance up against Booth Shannon.
The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. That was one of Burke's favorites.
Please don't read any more.
What is it, Hallie? You seem troubled.
I'm just tired. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to my room.
Is it me? I mean, my just being here, looking so much like Burke, reminding you of him?
No.
Because if it is, you'll get over that very soon. Believe me. Right now, all you can see is what the others saw. How much Burke and I were alike. But in time, you'll find out that Burke and I were as different in as many ways as we were alike. Do you know that he was afraid of you? And do you know why? Because he was afraid of beauty. He was afraid he'd lose it. That's only one of the ways which Burke and I were different. Even though he was my own brother, I knew he wasn't a man for you. He was weak and fearful. He didn't know how to love.
I'm going to my room.
In a moment. First, there is something we must do. We must kneel down and pray. We must pray for Burke.
Please,
Pray that he be forgiven his weaknesses. And then we must forget Burke and start fresh. You and I.
No, leave me alone. I hated Burke and I hate you. You're just like he was.
No, that's not true.
Look at yourself. Listen to yourself. Burke was an animal and so are you.
Stop it!
You look like him, you talk like him, and you think like him. You even smell like him. Ah! Ah! Ah!
Don't you think I know what you are? Don't you think I know about you and that young Cartwright? Don't you think I know he wants you? Well, he's not going to get you. He's going to go to the gallows. And you're going to send him there.
No!
You're going to get up in a court of law. You're going to stand up before God and man and admit your sin and confess your shame and tell the truth that your husband's death was no accident, that Joe Cartwright murdered him. And then you're coming back here to this house. And you're going to be the wife to me that my brother wanted you to be to him. And now, for the good of your immortal soul, I want to hear you speak the truth. Say, my husband was killed by Joe Cartwright.
I won't!
Say it! Say it!
Joe Cartwright!
Murdered my husband.
Oh.
Say it!
Murdered my husband.
In the morning, we're going to town and talk to the sheriff. Hallie! Hallie!
Joe.
Hallie!
Oh.
Go on, you know where your stall is.
Pa. What are you doing up so late?
Waiting for you.
Oh, yeah, what for?
Well, Hallie came by today, and, well, she intimated that there was something going on between you two. Is there?
No. No, just in Hallie's mind. I meant to tell you about it. Now, when I took Hallie home from the funeral yesterday, I went to the house. Hallie started talking crazy, saying she knew that I had murdered Burke so that she'd be free to marry me. Oh, she's upset about her husband's death. And I just can't think of any other reason why. There was nothing ever between us, a little puppy love when we were kids. Maybe I did go over the Shannon place too much. I just think Hallie's reaching for something. She's scared and lonely. I think she'll be all right.
Well, I don't think it's quite as simple as all that.
What do you mean?
Burke had some pretty crazy notions running around in his head, too. He wrote a letter to Booth, saying that he suspected that there was something going on between you and Hallie.
What?
And Booth showed the letter to Roy. Roy showed it to me this afternoon, and Roy wants to question you about it.
Pa, I swear to you, I'm telling the truth.
I believe you, Joe. But Booth believes his brother's letter.
Hi, Roy.
Hi, Joe. We're just talking about you.
I ought to come in town tomorrow about that letter, Roy. You didn't have to come out here in the middle of the night.
I didn't come out about that. Boo Shannon just rode into town a little while ago and said that him and Hallie had an argument. She run away, and he thought that she might be here.
Oh, she didn't come here.
Was the argument over that letter he got from Burke?
No, it's more serious than that. According to Booth, Hallie says that the shooting was not an accident.
Hell, I'm beginning to think she's right. Look, I could never figure out why Burke fired at me that second time. Now, after the first shot, I called to him. He wasn't that far away. I know he heard me. And yet he still fired at me again. Now, that letter is proof of why. He thought there was something going on between Hallie and me, and he was trying to kill me.
Of course, Roy, don't you see?
It's possible, Ben, I admit that. But we have no proof. With Hallie accusing little Joe.
Hallie doesn't know what she's saying. All we have to do is sit down and talk to her.
Well, we gotta find her first. Booth is out leading a search party now, looking for her. In the meantime, I'm gonna have to take you in with me.
Roy, you don't have to.
I have no choice, Ben. Booth demands it. I'm sorry.
They find Hallie.
Posse's still looking. Get your hat, you're leaving. Pa's in the office. It's all right, Booth. Little Joe's been released by an order from the circuit court.
Yeah, I went over to Gold Hill to the circuit court. If you want him in jail, you're going to have to file a formal complaint.
What about Hallie? Did you find her?
Yeah, we found her. At the bottom of Paiute Falls. She's dead.
You killed her! You can't even stop that! You know better than that! You're a lawman! Now look at here!
All right. Joe. Sorry, I shouldn't have lost my head.
What happened to Hallie?
It's hard to say exactly. Could be she tried to get up the footpath alongside the falls. Missed her step. Fell.
She was pushed.
Now, you got no reason to say that, Booth.
Now, leave him alone, Roy. Let him have his say.
I don't think this is the time or the place.
Let's have this settled right now if we can.
We can't. Not now. Not ever with Hallie gone. That's why she's dead. So she could never tell anyone. that your son killed my brother. Hallie knew that he'd be riding past Paiute Falls last night on the way home. She waited for him by the side of the road. And when he found out that I'd gotten the truth out of her, he made sure she'd never stand up in a court of law and repeat what she'd told me. He arranged another accident. Save your breath. You don't have to tell me I can't prove any of this. I've been a lawman long enough to know that. The only one that could prove it is dead. That's the whole point. Hallie Shannon is dead. And Joe Cartwright is free.
I'm riding over to Gold Hill in the morning to talk to Judge Holloway and a county prosecutor. I'll stop by your place on my way back. Little Joe, I don't think he's got too much to worry about. There's nothing that the law can do to you now, and if things work out the way I expect them to, we'll over to Gold Hill tomorrow. You won't even have to stand trial.
I already have. Already have.
Shannon, this is the end of it.
That's where you're wrong, Cartwright. He's gonna pay for this. I'm gonna haunt him. No matter where he goes, no matter what he does. When he looks back, you'll see me following him. I'm gonna dog him until someday he's gonna go screaming to the sheriff, confess what he did, and beg to be hanged.
Well, what happened here? Cartwright?
I want to talk to you.
Won't do any good, but go ahead. What have you come for? To plead for your son?
Yeah. That's the way you want it. To plead for my son.
You're a very fortunate man, Mr. Cartwright. I didn't have the opportunity. My brother, or Hallie.
My son is innocent.
Why? Because he's your son?
No, but because he says so and I believe him.
Well, I believed my brother when he wrote about your son and Hallie.
It's not quite the same thing, is it?
No.
Shannon, I'm beginning to understand how you really feel about your brother. When you were boys and you lived around here, I remember you and your brother Burke always competing against each other. And he was always coming out on top, beating you, and gloating over it.
That's ridiculous. We were children. I went away. When I grew up, I was twice the man Burke ever thought of being.
Of course you did. Why did you wait until now to come back? And what's this great concern over your poor brother? You're a man of the law. Why are you going outside the law?
This is not outside the law. Cartwright, your son is going to the gallows.
The Bible says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Don't quote the Bible to me. I know the book.
Do you? Which parts? The ones which suit your convenience?
You really mean this?
Of course I mean it.
Well, Floyd and me, we're the only ones that know anything about it.
I thought Joe Cartwright was a friend of yours.
He was. In a way. On the other hand, I never really liked him much. He's always thought he was something special. Because he was a Cartwright.
Get to the point.
What if Floyd and me went to the sheriff and told him what we saw the day we was looking for them rustlers?
What did you see?
Could be enough to send little Joe at the gallows. You see, Floyd, he listens to me. And if I told him...
To lie, he would.
You want little Joe, don't you? So what difference does it make?
Joe Cartwright's going to hang. But he's going to hang for the truth, not a lie. Now get out.
He's getting to you, isn't he? He's on your back and you can't get him off. It's just like he said it'd be, right? And you know what's gonna happen? He's got the whole town believing you murdered Burke and Hallie. You saw him. And he's gonna keep digging at you. And digging and digging. Till you believe it too. He's a devil. He's Satan himself. And he's gonna get to you, Joe. He's sitting over at that saloon just waiting. He's gonna see you hang.
You want something? You out on that street. What? I'm not gonna play any more games with you, Shannon. You think I murdered Burke and Hallie? All right, now's your chance to do something about it.
You are asking me outside?
Right now.
I'll go home.
Not until you face me on that street.
Cartwright, if I went out in that street with you, that wouldn't be a fight. That'd be murder.
Oh, no, not if I fired at you first. Now, that'd be self-defense. Just like it was when your brother fired at me.
I'll go tell your lies to somebody who'll believe them.
Oh, no, it's the truth, but you don't want to believe it. The letter you got from your brother, the one telling about Hallie and me, that wasn't the truth. Not one bit of it was the truth. But that's the proof that I needed. That's all I had to know to reason out why your brother fired at me. He knew it was me. But you twisted it around to mean just the opposite.
Well, shut up and go home.
Not until you meet me in that street.
Cartwright, you're gonna die. But you're gonna die on the gallows. You're not gonna force me to take the law.
I'll be waiting for you out on that street.
Don't be a fool, boy. Go home, Cartwright. Don't make me kill you.
Ben, I know how you feel, but that's not an illegal poster.
Well, that badge that he wears doesn't give him the power over other...
I'll tell Doc Carver to get ready.
Cartwright, I didn't want this.
You stay at the hotel tonight, Ben? Get yourself some food now, will you?
How is he?
He'll be all right.
Good.
Shannon? You could have killed him. Why didn't you?
Standing out in the street, I knew he'd been telling the truth. He didn't have to fight me. But he was standing there, ready to die if he had to. A killer wouldn't have done that. You know, you were right about Burke. Burke was a spoiler, Cartwright. All his life, he never wanted anything until I wanted it. And then somehow, some way, he'd get it away from me.
Even Hallie?
I knew Hallie long before he did. I loved her before he even met her. And this time, when I came back here, I honestly thought that I could make her love me if I could just get little Joe out of the way. And I guess I talked myself into believing that he had murdered Burke. I guess if you want something badly enough, you can convince yourself of anything.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really sorry about little Joe. I wish you'd tell him that for me.
Why don't you tell him?
Well, I'm going to be riding out of here tonight.
He's awake. I think he'd like to hear it from you.